When I think about Africa, I think about poverty, I think about AIDS, and I think about warfare, and it's kind of sad, especially since that's the motherland for my family.
I think that it's a country that has a lot of resources, but the government isn't utilizing them properly. Therefore, it is in dire straits.
Yeah, I think of a lot of war-torn areas and corrupt governments, and a lot of need for help, actually.
And where do you get most of this information about Africa?
Just reading the newspaper, watching the news.
I know a lot of people have traveled there and said it's a very beautiful country, and I would love to go there, but there's also a lot of pain and misery, I know, in Africa as well. And it's a country that needs a lot of help and attention, but I don't know much about it.
What do you know about Africa?
Not really much. I'd probably like to go there, though.
So in school, what do they teach you about Africa?
Well, I'm not learning about Africa. Never mind. Me neither, really.
You haven't heard anything in school about Africa?
They don't really teach us anything about Africa in school, and I have no idea why.
What do you learn at school? What do they teach you about Africa?
That some people aren't fortunate to have the things that we have in America, like TVs, tennis shoes, nice clothes and stuff.
What do they teach you in school about Africa?
They didn't teach us anything yet, but I know that the slaves came from Africa first.
Just another country just like our country.
Is Africa a country or a continent?
It's a continent. Yeah, continent, okay.
Right now, only thing I think about Africa is that I'm not from there, so I just think that my grandmother and my grandfather is from there, but I'm not from there. I think that we shouldn't call ourselves Africans, though, because the simple fact is that we're not from Africa. You know what I'm saying?
We're not?
No, we're not from Africa, you know?
And why do you feel this way?
Why do I feel this way? Because I know a lot of us right here was born here, you know what I'm saying? So our ancestors from Africa, you know what I'm saying? But our ancestors from Africa, but though we not from there. You know, that's how I think about Africa right now.
What images do you think about Africa?
The animals and the lions and all that.
Well, I know there's a lot of grass.
What do you think about Africa?
I think Mandingo Nelson is a beautiful person to free our Africans, and I think Kawhi Wines is good for kids. That's all I know about Africa.
They say that I come from the dark continent, Africa. They say that I come from the dark continent, Africa. The last time I checked the word dark in the dictionary, it meant evil or wickedness, without knowledge or enlightenment, a state of ignorance, difficult to understand, the absence of light. But I still believe in Africa, and I'm proud to be an African, because even though my continent has been marred by civil wars, ethnic wars, tribal wars, and HIV and AIDS is killing my people in masses, while the world watches and the media shows with no remorse. Please, do not let the media fool you. Let us not forget that Africa is the richest continent in natural resources. From gold to diamond, from rubber to copper, from timber to oil. Africa is widely known for its tourism industry. Africa is beautifully endowed with the Great Rift Valley, the Victoria Falls, the pyramids, the lakes, the oceans, the seas, and even its people.
Yeah, it's another world in the city when, like, you know, and when I say Africa, Africa's 54 countries. We can only speak about
the countries
very few. You know,
Right.
54 is a lot of countries because it's a continent. It's not one
Right.
place.
Yeah.
So we can't speak in general about every place. But a lot of our comments, you know, can be centered around Senegal or Ghana because we were there, you know, the longest time. Interestingly enough, you know, one of my relatives, a very older relative of mine, she really, when she saw my pictures, was like, there are cars there?
Wow.
She's older. She
Right.
came from
Exactly.
another,
Whole
you know,
generation.
whole different, you know. And she said, hey, when she was small, they just, you know, they people talking to book, you know, she just thinking bush people. And so when she saw the pictures from the city life with the buildings and the cars and, you know, in Ghana's a lot more metro type style buses are, you know, moving around. She really just was floored. And I find that from a lot of people that they don't realize that there's major cities with major traffic, BMWs, Mercedes Benz, Jeep Liberties,
Hummers.
Jeep Wranglers, Hummers,
Yes.
Mitsubishis, you know. When it comes to African Americans traveling to Africa, there's this major block, you know, and I just kind of want to dialogue about that. Why?
Well,
Or what do you think?
I think because some of us do think about what we don't think of the modern day Africa. We think that they're still warring all over, that there's famine and a whole lot of poverty everywhere. We don't think that there's 5-star hotels or
Right.
beaches.
Yes, yes.
We don't think like
Right.
that. We don't think they have horseback riding.
Right.
And we don't think
Movie theaters.
Yes, we don't amusement. There's
Yes,
an amusement park in Senegal.
Oh yeah, that's new.
I think those that have been educated about our past our connection to Africa. We think of slavery and we don't want to remember that.
We don't want to see.
We don't want to see that, you know, because even going to Senegal and Ghana myself and experiencing the slave dungeons, after experiencing them once, no, I don't want to go back to those particular places. But Africa, it's within itself, even though I only been to 5 or 6 countries there, I definitely want to go and see more of it, more of Africa. So why we don't go is, to me, it's we're not educated.
I also think that some of it stems way back, and this is an old argument, but part of the institution of slavery was to cut us off and have it seem impossible for us to go back to Africa. As being raised in this country, it's such a foreign concept. It's such a foreign concept. I mean, like old boy today, I'm not African. You know, I'm not, you know, people don't want to be, they don't want to be associated with it.
That's interesting what you said, because in these slave castles in Ghana and Senegal specifically, the door of no return. And basically this is a door that led out from the slave castle to waiting ships, is where people were shackled and chained and moved to these waiting ships. And you went through this door of no return. Okay, now that right there put a lot of heavy blocks on our ancestry and the people the children of generations that came after that.